Yesterday, I went to the clinic to give a blood sample for an elder health study. The researcher who was reviewing my chart said, "You retired at 60? Yeah." She asked, "What did you do?" "I was an administrator at OSU, and then I was a tribal college president, and then became the first Native woman to lead a mainstream university in Seattle." I noticed she became emotional and said, "When I was a young girl, I just wanted to make money and retire. Now I have a PhD, I'm on faculty here, and I have so much student debt. How'd you do it? How'd you save money?" I live frugally and believe you can always save $50 if you're mindful with your spending habits. Even when I didn't have money, I'd find a way. I live by a motto: reduce, reuse, recycle, and even refuse to buy. Growing up, my dad was a blue-collar worker and my mom cleaned houses. I was an older sibling and had to pitch in to help with the family income. When I was 11, I recall my dad taking me to the bank, and he told me, "Shieja, you need to learn to save money." I was excited. Every time I earned money for ironing or babysitting, I'd put my meager earnings in the bank and I'd record it in my little passbook. The most I ever earned was $368. One day my dad confessed, "Shieja, I'm sorry. I needed the money." He withdrew my savings. He didn't even ask me because he needed my money. As I grew older, I realized my parents were poor financial managers. I recall bill collectors coming to our front door and was scolded to be quiet. Often I'd see mail with red lettering that read, "Past due" or "Final notice." My parents argued about their bills and turned to drinking, and I vowed I would always take care of my money, save it, and not have debt. When the researcher came back into the room, I asked, "I don't mean to get personal here, but do you talk about money with your partner?" "No." "Should I?" "Of course you should." I talk with my husband from time to time about our finances, and we make long and short-range financial goals, calling them budget summits. It's important to plan ahead and to know exactly how much you have to spend over a period of time and find ways to cut back on things you don't need. I learned about money by going to financial workshops for women and reading books by Susie Orman. One of the first times when I had to manage a large sum of money was when I received my Navajo Tribal Scholarship. It was scary at first. I tried to write down every expense I needed for my tuition, fees, and books. And then I had to figure out how far I could stretch the remainder to pay for my rent, utilities, and living expenses. Often I worked part-time jobs to stay in school, unlike my cousin who dropped out because she didn't plan ahead. She once told me she bought clothes and record albums instead of managing her scholarship money wisely. I knew I had to make ends meet, especially when I became a single parent with 2 dependent children. My first marriage occurred when I was in college. On the home front, I took care of all of our household bills, but my husband managed all of our financial accounts because he was majoring in accounting. After 10 years, we divorced. Little did I know he was putting our money into a hidden account for himself. It was difficult as a single parent. I recall teaching my sons at a young age how to write checks to pay our bills and how to balance my checkbook. I wanted them to learn money management skills. To this day, I still have a planner and I write down my expenditures. I balance my checkbook and pay off my credit card balance each and every month and remind myself, if I can't pay for it, I don't need to buy it. In addition to teaching my sons how to take care of their money, I am also teaching my grandkids about investments. Since I can't be there to give them gifts on special occasions, I vowed to put money in the bank for them. When they got older, I showed them the power of compounding interest and how their money grows in their investment funds. One time I remember an extended fishing trip with our younger grandson. I noticed him looking at his cell phone when we got back to town. We thought he was just hanging out on Snapchat, until he excitedly explained, "Grandma Nellie, I invested in Netflix, and look what the market's done." Our Navajo culture teaches us about balance in our lives. It's about having a positive sense of your physical, emotional, intellectual, and spiritual aspects of yourself. By learning to manage my money as a mother and grandmother, I've earned the right to invest in myself in my retirement. It has given me the freedom to say, is this something I want? To take a cooking class? Go on retreats with knitting experts? Or take family vacations? Recently, on my 63rd birthday, I got a new bike, and I enjoy riding with my husband. I also just returned from Guatemala, where I learned backstrap weaving. Being smart about money has given me confidence to be self-sufficient, to know that I will never be without. I am able to pay it forward to contribute to charities and nonprofits because I believe in giving back, especially to help women be self-sustaining. After our session at the clinic, I told the researcher, "I'm sorry. I didn't think we would get so personal." She wiped away her tear and asked, "Can I give you a hug?" "Of course, I'm a hugger." My name is Cassandra Manuelito Kerkvliet. I am retired and live with my husband Joe in Oregon and Montana. Here are my final recommendations. Learn about personal financial management and be in control of your finances. Remember to reduce, reuse, recycle, and refuse to buy. And be grateful for what you have and start saving today.